friends, welcome to another Skoolie conversion video. Today we're making screens. So for the forecast for the next 3-4 days is 90 degrees, which is pretty warm up here. So clearly I need to go to the river. And there's bugs there, as I mentioned in the video that Julie and I did a couple, I don't know, about a week or so ago, and so we need some screens, so we're working on those today. I have made myself a little jig here to cut up the screen pieces. So you've got, so the pieces we're working with are our screen frame material, and it's got the spline right in there. We've got the corners put into the frames. We've got these little springs to help keep holding them into the edge of the window, and these little pull tabs. And so we want to cut these frames 1.5 inches shorter than the rough opening of the window to accommodate for the screens, for the corners, I'm sorry. So I built this little jig. It's just based a couple pieces of plywood, stop block at the end. That way I know I'm exactly at this end here, and I got my clamp, so I can just sort of saw through these, and I don't have to keep measuring over and over, which makes the process faster for mass producing screens. I've got you can use a hacksaw, but while I use hand tools, you can use power tools with a fine edge blade there. So let's get after it. You take some sandpaper if you want and smooth off the burrs. A couple of the bad ones I did, but I'm not going to worry a whole lot about it. And sometimes the ends get a little bit squished with the cutting. I found the fork works really well, just sort of pry those back out. And also works really good to pop out the splines. And then we can assemble. You got the brackets, it's got sort of the grooves in the one side, the flat. I find putting the grooves in. Front side. Put the long ends on first, it says. This one might be a little bit more persnickety because it's the cut end. Then slide the springs in there like that. Put that end on. Spring on this end. We have a frame. Just trim right down the outside edge of the spline. Like that. So, full report time. Screens work great. They don't fit exactly in there. Got some gaps on a couple of them I'll show you. And even our smart mosquitoes didn't really make it in. They worked pretty well. And they actually stayed in. I was a little nervous about driving with them, but I thought, well, we'll try it a little bit on the dirt road on the way to the campground that we stay at. And they stayed in there pretty good. So then I'm like, well, I'll try the pavement down to where we fuel up before we get on the turnpike or the highway. And they stayed in there. So I'm like, well, let's try the blazing speeds of 65 miles an hour on the highway. And 4 hours later, they're still in. So I'm really happy with the way they turned out. So I guess that's about it. I can't think of anything else to add. So again, thanks to Cole Adventures for the sort of guiding through the process, and thanks to Mike over to Harmony Express for pointing me in the right direction to get those in. It was really useful. I guess kind of only one downside is they're not super easy to put in and take out. You got to fuss with them a little bit to get them in, but once they're in, they're pretty good. But these little tabs that you use to sort of on the screens to pull them out, the tabs just got to pull right out. So, it takes a little bit of monkeying around to get them out. So that's not the most ideal, but it's still it's better than bugs to keep the bugs out. So good. I'm happy with them. Probably going to make a couple more to fill in some, especially the emergency exit ones are different sizes. So let me get a couple more in. Oh, and the other thing too is if one of the things this guy always worried about, like it's going to rain, you have to pull them out, and it does rain a little bit inside, but it rained pretty hard for a shower, but not terrible, I guess. So so I could probably live with a little bit of moisture rather than trying to wrestle the screens in and out, I guess. But that's kind of my own personal choice. So that is it. Thanks for joining me on another Skoolie video. Certainly appreciate the support. Like, subscribe, do all those things that you do, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching.